Hello, everyone. My name is Jennifer Legge. I'm a marketing associate at Broad River Asset Management and a representative of Transparency Alliance. It's nice to meet everyone. Over the past couple of weeks, the Transparency Alliance team, including myself, have been on the road meeting all of you, the investors. The Transparency Alliance team have enjoyed meeting all of you in person at our roadshow events, online, and virtually through our webinars, as well as telephonically. After hearing many of your concerns and questions, we thought it would be very helpful to create this how-to video that will outline the specifics of your ballot. So today, I'd like to show you how you can vote to accept the Transparency Alliance plan, as well as demystifying some of the questions and concerns that the Transparency Alliance group have heard while meeting all of you. So let's get started. From a high-level perspective, I'd like to start off by addressing some things that may appear basic, but I do think it's important to address. Now, you may have noticed that both ballot forms you received from the trustee and that of Transparency Alliance look similar. In order to help differentiate the two, please note that the Transparency Alliance form has the words Transparency Ballot in the footer of the document. Also, the more positions you hold, the longer your ballot may appear. But in general, all of the forms have a similar look and feel. So I'd like to show you how each ballot differs. It is important to read your ballot carefully because that will indicate what class you are in. If you feel that you are missing a form or that the wrong form was sent to you, please feel free to contact us. Our contact information will be displayed at the end of this presentation. Now I'll move on to define which ballot form is right for you. So looking here at the first column at these ballot types, we'll start off with the Class B2 form. The Class B2 form is for fractional interest holders who are also rescission subclass members. And I will go through exactly what a rescission subclass member is toward the end of the slide. The form Class B2A is for fractional interest holders who are not rescission subclass members. Class B3 form is for the IRA holder claimants who are also rescission subclass members. Class B3A is for IRA holder claimants who are not rescission subclass members. So for the most part, unless a position that you have has been inherited, most of you could categorize where you fall in terms of the position type and connect that to which ballot type you should be filling out. The differentiators between fractional interest holders, or FIH, and IRA holder claimants, or you can have forms for both. So what is a rescission subclass member? A rescission subclass member is a person who belongs to the subclass of investors proposed to be certified for settlement purposes under the class action settlement agreement. In other words, you may make the rescission election. And by exercising the rescission election, you may elect to rescind the transaction to which you required rights to and or interest in the fractional interest and rescind the related investment contract. In doing so, you will be deemed to have assigned, transferred, and abandoned your fractional interests. In exchange, you will receive a creditor's trust interest calculated as provided in Section 7.06 of the plan. The creditor's trust interest will allow you to receive a share of the potential recoveries in the causes of action pursued by the creditor's trustee. Now, I also want to mention, if you have not received a copy of our plan, again, our contact information will be provided for you at the end of the presentation, and we'd love to hear from you, and we'll get that over to you as soon as possible. Now, when you look through your ballot, you'll notice that each part of it is sectioned off, so it would only make sense to start off with item 1. So item 1 here should look similar throughout every ballot type, and it asks you to state your aggregate amount for claims for voting. The sample I've pasted here is what your ballot should look like. You only need to fill in the aggregate amount of your claim here. If you see a pre-filled claim amount, please confirm the amount of your aggregate claim. And it's very important to do so to make sure that your vote is accurate and counted. Now we'll move on to item 2. Item 2 should also look similar throughout all ballot types. This is where you make a choice that can set you on a clear path toward reaping the benefits as presented in the Transparency Alliance Plan. If you are unfamiliar with the Transparency Alliance Plan has to offer, you can check out some of the details on our website and watch one of our webinars which discusses the plan. To be fully transparent, we have provided you with an FAQ, a frequently asked questions list, that is also posted on our site. After you reviewed why Transparency Alliance is the better solution, we hope you make the right choice and accept the Transparency Alliance Plan here in item 2. Now moving on to item 3, this is the section where we get the most questions, so I will review this in greater detail. It'll have a slightly different look through each ballot type depending on your position holder type. To simplify things, first I will walk through item 3 for the B2 ballot, which is for fractional interest holders. Then I can walk through the B3 ballot for the IRA claim holders ballot. Now here in item 3 for the B2 ballot, as you can see up on the slide now, you have the option of making your elections under the transparency plan for all fractional interest positions you have. Now this is very important, you should only check these boxes if you're making the same election for all of your interests. So let's start off with the first option for the B2 class. The first option listed here is where you can make the position holder trust election, which will pool your fractional interest with other policies in the position holder trust. And we abbreviate that to PHT, so you might hear that here and there. In exchange, you will receive units in the position holder trust, which will entitle you to regular distributions from the trust as policies in the trust mature. These distributions will be made quarterly or 4 times a year. The number of units you will receive in exchange for your fractional interests will be based on the face amount or death benefit of your interests. You will not have to pay premiums and serving costs out of pocket. All of that will be paid by the pool. Now, some investors may want to hold on to their individual investments because they have a large diversified portfolio of interests already, or because they simply want to maintain their specific positions. But for most investors, however, transparency strongly recommends that you pool your interests by making the position holder trust election on your ballot. So the second option we have listed for the B2 class is the certificate of continuing interest. This is the option which allows you to keep your individual investment in whatever policy you invested in prior to the bankruptcy. If you exercise that option, you will have to continue to pay premiums and servicing costs for your policy until your policy matures. Now, your last option here is that you may make that rescission election, which we had previously discussed. So now I'll move on to the Class B2 ballot form to answer the question of what if I have multiple positions that I want to keep and some that don't look as attractive? Transparency Alliance respects your ownership and freedom of choice. So you will see a grid after the election checkboxes where you can individually assign interest elections under the transparency plan. In this section, many investors have come seeking our team's advice on how to allocate certain positions. You should log into your account through the trustee's website to access your policy information. Right now, the specific details of what you own lives with the trustee, so be sure to get all the facts on what you own before you make a decision. You will have the same option to assign IRA positions individually as well. So let's jump into the B3 ballot form for IRA holders. Similar to the fractional interest holders B2 class ballot, IRA position holders have the choice to make the same elections for all of their positions. Again, very important, only check the box in this section if you want to make the same election for all of your positions. So let's run through what each box means. Some of the options are repetitive from the previous section, so please bear with me. Option 1, as an IRA holder, is that you can make the position holder trust election, which again will pool your fractional interests with other policies in the position holder trust. This option keeps your investment in the IRA. In exchange, you will receive units in the position holder trust, which will entitle you to regular distributions from the trust as policies in the trust mature. These distributions will be made quarterly, again 4 times a year, and the number of units you will receive in exchange for your fractional interest will be calculated in accordance with the face amount or death benefit of your current IRA note. You will not have to pay premiums and servicing costs out of pocket. All of that will be paid by the pool. Transparency Alliance strongly recommends that you choose this option because your chances of recovery will no longer be tied to one policy, and you won't have to pay any more money out of pocket. Option 2, listed here as an IRA holder, is you can become a continuing interest holder by exchanging your IRA note for a certificate of continuing interest. In general terms, a certificate of continuing interest allows you to keep your individual investment in whatever policy you invested in prior to the bankruptcy. If you exercise that option, you will have to continue to pay premiums and servicing costs for your policy until your policy matures. However, the CIH election for IRA holders causes a taxable distribution of your interest from your IRA and its conversion into the continuing interest like that of cash investor receives on electing the CIH election for its interest. Option 3 for the IRA holder is you may choose to exchange your IRA note for a Class B3 note. The principal amount of a Class B3 note will equal the aggregate of the fractional death benefits due under your IRA note. Like with the continuing interest holder election, if you choose the note election, your interest in whatever policy you invested in prior to the bankruptcy. If you exercise that option, you will have to continue to pay premiums and servicing costs for your policy until your policy matures. The Class B3 note election continues your IRA investment as a note in your IRA with the same rights and obligation as your current note. As described in greater detail in the transparency disclosure statement, there are potential adverse tax effects associated with electing to receive a Class B3 note. Those risks are comparable to those that you have with your current IRA note. You should consult a tax professional to confirm that this is the right option for you. Finally, option 4 is that you may make the rescission election, which was previously discussed. So similar to the B2 ballot, the IRA note holders also, the IRA position holders also have the option to assign each claim individually. If you are looking for some recommendations on what you should do, you will find some helpful advice on our investor forum and throughout our FAQs at www.transparencyalliance.net. And I will repost that link at the end of this presentation. Now the final item, item 4, requires you to acknowledge and certify your ballot. If someone is filling out this ballot for you, like your son, daughter, spouse, attorney, neighbor, whoever that may be, that person should fill in their name where it says name of signatory. Please be sure that all sections are completed with your most up-to-date information. Now, I thought it'd be helpful to just post some final steps here for everyone, because the final review of your ballot is important to be sure that your vote is accurate and counted. The purpose of this tutorial is to function as a guide, but not as a shortcut. It is very important that you read through your entire ballot. So everyone should review the entire ballot form, SVBE procedures, and your claim amount. Also, be sure to check the box to accept the transparency plan in item 2. Also, please reconfirm all of your entries on the signature page and throughout the ballot to make sure everything is accurate. Lastly, and most importantly, return your ballot in on time. All ballots must be received by August 23rd at 11:59 p.m. Pacific Time. Also, please be on the lookout for what's called a preference form. This is the form that some might have heard is recently coming from the court. This preference form you should receive in the mail, and you should also check the box saying that you prefer the transparency plan. And also, please return this before the voting deadline. So before I close the presentation, since I've personally been out on the road with my team, I got a few questions that were pretty repetitive coming from a lot of different people. So I just wanted to list these here. I'm sure some of you may have the same question or questions. The first three questions can really be answered with one response. So I'll just run through those real quick. One being, I have not received a ballot with my positions listed. How can I get my ballot? Two, I'm going on vacation or I'm not going to be around summer months. I have not received my ballot. How can I vote? Third, I received a ballot, but only for some of my positions. How can I get a ballot for the rest of my positions? And the answer to these first three questions is just give us a call. I will show you our contact information on the next slide, but all we need you to do is give us a ring. I've already spoken to a couple of people about this, and we can certainly expedite the ballot delivery as well as that preference form to you. We can even email it to you. So the last question I wanted to make sure was listed here is, after seeing your presentation, how can I unvote for the trustee? Now, this was quite a frequently asked question for many investors that I get to meet. And I did get the answer. It's, you cannot take back your vote for the trustee plan after you sent in your ballot, but what you can do is vote to accept the Transparency Alliance plan in addition to your vote that was to either accept or not accept the trustee's plan. Again, please look out for that preference form that will be coming in the mail so you can make a choice for the Transparency Alliance plan. And now, here as promised, we'd love for all of you to give us a call with any questions or any concerns you may have. Our phone lines are open for you. As well as we encourage everyone to visit our website at www.transparencyalliance.net. Throughout the whole team, we've been in and out of the website every day, day, night, trying to respond to a lot of your investor inquiries on our investor forum. Also, I think it's been really helpful to see other investors jumping in to answer some of the questions, because I know a lot of you have similar questions, and I think that's been really great to have this community of investors helping one another in addition to some of the answers and responses we provided. So that's all I have for you today. I hope this has been helpful for you, and thank you for watching this presentation, and I really appreciate everyone's time. We hope that you accept the Transparency Alliance plan today as your preferred reorganization plan. Thank you very much.